Now I have to get my specs out because we are going to South by Southwest, where Geoff Fowler is standing by to tell us about the homeless people. He has his sunglasses on and his glasses, wearing them in a most peculiar way. Geoff, you've been doing some reporting about these homeless people being transformed into Wi-Fi hotspots. It sounds painful. What actually is going on?
So there's an ad agency called BBH, and they've done a couple of not-for-profit things in the past where they've tried to equip homeless people with cell phones so they can tweet and do other things to raise awareness. And they came up with this idea here at South by Southwest, which is this annual tech hub, to equip homeless people with 4G wireless hotspots and T-shirts that say, "Hey, I'm a hotspot. Pay me to get wireless access." So they went to a local homeless group here, and they said, "What do you think of this idea?" And they said, "You know what? Let's give it a try." I think there's been a little bit of misunderstanding in the past couple of days as it kind of turned into a little mini media firestorm, that this was somehow a campaign that the agency was doing for Verizon or some kind of tech company. This is actually an effort by this homeless group here to find a potential replacement for the great newspapers that a lot of homeless people have made money by handing out here. They say that they feel like they've been kind of misunderstood in a lot of that coverage, that really they see this as A, an experiment to see if they can find a new business model, and B, just an opportunity to connect with people. So to get on the wireless hotspot, you have to go up to a homeless person wearing one of these T-shirts, talk to them, you learn a little bit about their story, and get their handles. You can get on their hotspot.
Peter?
So they're claiming that their marketing idea to turn homeless people into hotspots has been misunderstood?
That's what they're saying. They're saying that there were a number of people that
everyone got it, Jeff.
I
think most people actually understand it, and that's why everyone thinks it's such a terrible and stupid idea. If you want to raise awareness for the homeless, there's lots of ways to do it. If you want to employ the homeless, there's lots of ways to do it. If you want to stick them out on a street with a T-shirt saying "I'm a hotspot," then of course people are going to think that's a terrible idea. I think the idea that there's sort of a nuanced discussion here is crazy. This is like the end of it's the end of our culture here. Not the stunt itself, but the discussion that this is a sort of a debate with two sides. Makes no sense.
So
go on.
Let me tell you what the homeless people themselves said about it. They said their initial view was, hey, this is a chance to make some money, and they need to do that, and potentially make, at a conference where all these tech people are coming, they know that the web's the future. They were all promised at least $20 ahead to go out there and, and do this, plus any extra money that they could, raise from getting people to connect to their wireless networks. But then it started raining at first, and that turned out to be not a great business model for them, what they said. So their views started to change. They said, you know what, this is kind of more of an outreach opportunity. They say, look, we're famous now. People around the world are talking about this. We're talking about it here at the Wall Street Journal. We're talking about, the guy Clarence I spent time with yesterday afternoon, and he says, now people know about me. They know about homelessness, and, the people that might once have just kind of walked past me on the street, not giving me any attention at all, sort of now know that I exist and know who I am. So as an awareness-raising exercise, they say they're really happy with it, and they're glad they did it.
So tell us about Clarence. Tell us his story. What sort of work is he looking for other than being a wireless hotspot?
He was a slightly older gentleman. He had moved to Austin a couple of years ago. He lost his house in a hurricane. He's been staying at a shelter here a couple of blocks away from the convention center. And he's part of a program there they have to help sort of start transitioning people out of homelessness and into homes and into careers. And basically, this was a job for him. He was employed by his caseworker, who was being paid essentially by the ad agency to do this. And he says, listen, when you give me a job, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right, and I'm not going to pull out of this. He thought that he was actually a little insulted that people thought that he should pull out of it, that he wouldn't know what he was getting into.
You're still appalled,
I don't blame the homeless person for taking $20 to stand on the street and wear a T-shirt, but we can do better, right? We can find meaningful work for them, or we could just literally just give them charity if you want to go about it that way, or we could put them on a billboard if you want to raise awareness. The idea that you're going to turn them into sort of living mannequins for $20 a day, which I don't know how that's legal, but good for them.
So I guess the idea is that they're not mannequins. Mannequins are silent. Mannequins are just things that stand there. These are living people, and to use the service, you actually have to go up to these guys and have a conversation. You have to sort of meet them. And I think a lot of people just are really uncomfortable with talking to homeless people, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't understand their plight as well. So they said this was essentially a way to force people to interact with someone they would normally ignore.
Okay, well, we want to thank you very much, Geoff Fowler, and I want to point out to you again that the sunglasses work better when they're actually covering your eyes. I've been trying wearing them your way, and in fact, I go with the over the eyes way for keeping the sunlight out. But anyway, thank you very much. Geoff Fowler with the Wall Street Journal.